Welcome back to the Explainer Focused Learners. Today, we're unpacking something that's honestly profoundly personal, the adaptation of the accelerated mind. We're going to dive right into the research and explore how childhood survival might have literally created your high-speed brain. You didn't just grow older, you adapted faster. Just take a second to really let that sink in. I know, it's a bit of a jarring hook, right? But it fundamentally shifts how we view our own pasts and, well, our own minds. You weren't just passively aging as a kid. No, your brain was actively racing to meet the intense demands of your surroundings. Okay, let's dive into this with part one, the overthinking misconception. So we really need to talk about that word overthinking and the heavy societal stigma attached to it. Because society often labels it as this purely negative trait, right? Like a flaw or just a really heavy burden. And it's exhausting. The constant spinning of the wheels, the mental fatigue, the feeling that you just cannot turn your brain off. We've all felt that frustration, that sneaking suspicion that maybe something is wrong with how we process the world. But here's the thing. The source material reframes this entirely. What you're actually doing is a survival skill that has evolved into a cognitive edge. What feels like this massive burden to you right now is in reality a carefully forged tool. I really want to validate your experience here. You aren't broken, you're just highly adapted. Which brings us to part two, unpredictable environments. To really grasp this concept, we have to look backward. We need to explore the why behind this high-speed mental framework. Unpredictable environments are basically childhood settings that required rapid cognitive adaptation just for survival. Think about it. When you grow up in a space where the rules are constantly changing, where emotions are super volatile, or where stability simply isn't guaranteed, well, that environment acts as a massive catalyst. It literally forced your developing brain to adapt dynamically and rapidly rather than just kind of passively coasting along a standard, relaxed growth curve. Let's move on and see how this builds, because this evolution happens in three distinct phases. First, in childhood, roughly years 0 to 12, that chaos or inconsistency is initially introduced. Then, by the teenage years, development kicks into high gear. Your brain realizes, hey, I need to process threats and changes way faster to keep us safe. And that ultimately culminates in the present day, your high-speed adult brain. So your current cognitive abilities, they're the direct logical result of this chronological journey. Moving right along to part three, the accelerated mind. So what are the actual mechanics of this whole thing? Like, what does accelerated cognitive development actually look like in practice today? Well, it means thinking several steps ahead. It's kind of like a high-stakes chess match. When your mind is racing, it isn't just pointlessly worrying or spinning out of control. Not at all. Your brain is actively and strategically calculating multiple future scenarios all at once. You're basically running these incredibly detailed simulations to keep yourself prepared for literally any possible outcome. And this brilliantly illustrates how it happens in real time, in just rapid succession. Step one, you assess the unpredictable environment. You're instantly scanning the room, picking up on tone of voice, noticing shifting dynamics. Step two, your cognitive processing accelerates into massive overdrive. And finally, step three, you think several steps ahead. You're mapping out all the outcomes before anyone else in the room has even processed that first step. And the crazy part? You do all of this automatically in literally milliseconds. Now for the really good stuff. Part four, your cognitive edge. Now what's really interesting about this is how it brings all our source points together to reveal a massive paradigm shift. Think about it. Your cognitive style was forged in childhood survival. That intense environment resulted in high-speed brain processing. That processing gives you the distinct ability to think several steps ahead of the curve. And ultimately, that is transformed into a real cognitive edge. You are uniquely equipped with the mental hardware to handle immense complexity that would, quite frankly, completely overwhelm most other people. So the crucial point here is that we're moving from a survival skill to a cognitive edge. That overthinking you've been fighting your entire life, it was never a flaw. It wasn't a mistake. Actually, scratch that. It was a brilliant, highly effective adaptation. It gifted you a uniquely high-speed brain that is totally capable of incredible foresight and strategic planning. Which brings us to a final provocative thought to leave you with. Now that you know your overthinking is actually a finely honed survival skill, how will you use your cognitive edge? You've got a high-speed brain custom-built for complex problem solving. It's time to stop fighting your own mind and start leveraging it as the superpower it truly is. Thanks so much for joining me for today's explainer. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you on the next one.